Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
Yeah, welcome in to another rousing rendition of Libservative.
Peekaboo.
Intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy, and the world's smartest internet show. Bell the Bodysnatcher on the ones and twos. He, as always, is Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin.
And yeah. Has anybody checked on Chuck Schumer, by the way, since the Bills lost on Sunday, or was it Saturday? I think they played on Saturday. Anybody check out on
Go
Bill?
Bills?
I haven't. I think I heard him in the ether.
You did?
Just go Bills.
Go Bills.
Poor guy. I hope he's okay. I hope he's doing well. I hope
Do you?
he's more worried. Yeah, sure. Why not? Eating a raw cheeseburger.
That
cold
guy's
grill.
a fucking robot, man.
Oh my God, Pam Bondi is taking a beating on X over the last couple of days for. It's interesting because it's for a couple of different things. First, for still refusing to release a fully unredacted Epstein file. That's number one, and then the other one is because people are going. Trump's been in office for a year now. In fact, as of this recording on Thursday, January 22nd, a year and 2 days is when his second term began. And still no arrests for Russiagate or the quote-unquote stolen 2020 election. People are getting pissed at Pam Bondi, and for some of the right reasons. Corey's just nodding his head.
I'm sorry. I was hearing something outside and completely missed half of what you said in the most professional way.
Don't get bogged down by all the haters out there.
Corey saw a squirrel
Completely
out
off
the
the
window.
rails.
No, X is hammering Pam Bondi over not releasing the Epstein files yet, and
The
also
rapper?
the fact that there's no
there was some sort of like leak. X gonna give it to you.
Mhm. On Twitter.
I
Come
know.
on, Corey.
I'm kidding. If we're even allowed to call it that anymore,
I know we might get sued.
I think we might.
Somebody might sue, and also no arrest for Russiagate or the 2020 election after a year. Everybody's mad at her. That poor elven-looking woman. What else can we say?
Everyone forgot about the Epstein files.
Well, yeah, a million things have happened.
Isn't that interesting?
Trump's land grabs. We're going into Iran. We're not going into Iran.
We're going into
Maduro
Greenland. We're not going into Greenland.
Maduro got kidnapped in the middle of the night in a really hot tracksuit
Some journalists getting killed in Israel.
that sold out the next
You've
day.
done a hell of a lousy job.
ICE is using administrative warrants.
I was going to look up. Is there anything on Polymarket or Calci as to like how much longer Pam Bondi's term as Attorney General is going to go for?
Do
Is
you
there
have to have
Set on
a
her.
account to look things up on Calci?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think you do.
Because if you don't, I could just Google it real quick. Or hey, Bell.
Just put in Pam Bondi into the Calci.
And what is
search.
Calci saying about Pam Bondi? What's the other one?
Polymarket?
Polymarket. You know, I took some bullshit bets over the weekend on that Bills game. Or not the Bills game. It was the Texans-Patriots game. First time I betted in like 4 years and I lost.
Go Bills.
So there was that happened to me.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Chuck
was your
Schumer's doing a
weekend,
lot worse than you are today. I'm just doing construction. That's why, like,
The
my background looks a little different. Construction going on in the basement down here. My mom's basement where I do my podcast.
we know the storms in Texas are about to get really bad.
How do we know that, Corey?
Ted Cruz is on his way to California.
What do you got for us, Bill? Any bets on Pam Bondi's tenure as AG coming to an end soon?
Yeah, she got the highest odds to be the first person to leave the Trump cabinet.
Okay, so it's on there.
They
Yeah, it's like a
insult
bunch of people
us
there.
in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
Who will attend a White House press briefing this evening, or it's just shit like that.
But the only thing regards to her job, the only thing in regards to her job is
does she make it till the beginning of next year? Before that, it's back to Dan Bongino. Who will leave their role in the Trump administration first, Dan Bongino or Kash Patel?
That one's already been decided.
Yeah, that's a lot of these are out.
That's the sound of Dan Bongino's career.
Yeah, I wonder what his numbers
tumbling
are.
Toward the basement,
like on his podcast.
Dude, he still works for the administration. He just does it from in front of a microphone now.
Pretty much, he just became a mouthpiece.
It basically sounds like he's giving he's doing hostage videos every time.
He's actually still in the White House. They just told everyone he's at home, or he's still like in the FBI building. He's at one of the black sites.
I'll say this. Trump's ballroom was just a distraction so they could build Dan Bongino's podcast studio in the Lincoln bedroom.
He's going back to his, because who does that? Who talks the biggest shit about the FBI for not doing things like the Epstein list, JFK, RFK? There's all these videos of him listing all these things off, and he's like, why aren't we hearing about this? Why isn't this released? If they're gonna lie to us about this, they're lying about everything. And then he gets in and he doesn't release any of that and just says he misses his wife.
Dude, he looks so defeated.
Yeah,
how do you go back? Defeated.
How do you go back to doing that? Going back to doing the podcast.
You don't. Bright Eyes in the house. What's up, man? It's been a while since we've seen you. Or lady. I don't want to assume your gender.
But when it comes to Pam Bondi and it comes to Dan Bongino, they should just take the wise words of another brilliant politician who got done dirty. The one and only
Don't get bogged down by all the
I
hate.
think I know where you're going with this.
George Santos has been there. He went to prison.
Peekaboo.
He's been at the depths. And guess what? He's back. There he is. And
Big fat pussycat.
we just need you guys to just pull through. That's my advice to them. Just keep on trucking.
I think all the feminists have a reason to celebrate after this past week, Corey.
Oh, I think I know
all
why.
the feminists should be very, very happy. We have right now in 2026 and maybe we've had it for a while and we didn't know it yet, but we do right now have our very first female president of the United States, or at least female commander in chief. And before, and before the Trump sycophants lose their shorts, I'm not talking about Donald Trump, because Donald Trump isn't really president of the United States.
And he's not a woman.
That's right.
I never sucked any ding-dongs.
Well, you don't have to be a woman to suck a ding-dong, Alex.
You're gay.
Except for, Matt Walsh really thinks that. I think Matt Walsh might believe that the human mouth, the male mouth, is actually incapable of ingesting a schlong.
Matt Walsh probably eats his hot dog sideways.
Yeah, he probably does. Yeah, definitely.
Bananas? Ew, gross. No thanks.
You're gay.
But I do speak of,
And then for some reason, Lindsey Graham's house, all his stools are turned upside down.
Dude, Lindsey Graham's probably. I can't take credit for this joke. I got to take credit for a Facebook commenter. I'll give the name in the show notes. But I saw a joke that because the big winter storm's coming in, it might be headed for South Carolina. How do we know that? Because Lindsey Graham's probably already halfway to Israel already. But I do think the feminists have a reason to celebrate for our first female commander-in-chief. And I speak of none other than the great, renowned Zionist queen, Miriam Adelson. I don't think it's been more on display who controls what, at least with regards to foreign policy, more than, I don't know, Miriam Adelson saying it herself. Belle, get that first video ready, because this is Miriam Adelson essentially giving her latest assault or dump on the Constitution. She basically said, yeah, we buy influence. We buy it from both parties. So if Miriam Adelson's not president of the United States in reality, then money actually is. There's no greater return on investment than buying politicians. This is true. Here we go. Roll that tape.
Miri, you and Sheldon created a lot of
Miri,
relations
not even on a
over the
first
years
name
with
basis, but a
politicians
nickname
at
basis.
the state level, especially at the federal level. I want you to share with everyone, why is it so important, and how do you do it? Again, writing checks is part of it, but there is more than writing just checks. So how do you do it?
Very successful.
Can you
very
allow me
rich.
not to answer?
You choose.
Allow me not to answer.
I want to be truthful, and there are so many things that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want specific, but that's okay. But
yeah, we do.
But everyone should know here how important it is to get involved, because the reason that both of you were able to make huge differences is because you got involved and you spent a lot of time and yes, a lot of money on it, but you got involved and you cared. And that's what everyone here need to know, that, you know, complaining and doing nothing is not going to get us anywhere. And you guys have done completely the opposite. So thank you both.
Can you allow me not to answer? By the way, has anybody else noticed that
You remember what, like, Trump says the quiet part out loud, and like he basically says that in one of those speeches. We put it on here. I don't even remember how far back of an episode it was.
The biggest load that we've seen.
Remember when he's like, you spent a lot of money. And then I think she loves America. I think America's first for her. It might be Israel, but I think it's America.
I think it might be Israel. No, he even said it was
or yeah.
He even accused her of having more loyalty to Israel. Yeah, for sure. That's your first female president of the United States right there.
She's running the
Has anybody, by the way, has anybody
She's the one that wants Greenland?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Got to have somewhere to put all those Gazans. Ship them up to Greenland. There's only 50,000 people on that giant. I think isn't it the world's largest island, or did I just make that up?
What, Greenland?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be Australia?
Well, no, because that's a continent. It's
Nope,
considered
that's
a continent.
facts. That's facts.
It's Greenland, right? It's the world's largest
That's
island. Yeah.
Well, technically. I know it's a continent, but
it's just a big sheet of ice. By the way, has anybody noticed that Miriam Adelson looks like Meryl Streep's like uglier, jealous sister? Is that a mean thing to say about Meryl Streep?
You know, I can't claim to know Marian Adelson. Did I say that right?
Miriam? He called her Miri.
Miriam Adelson. I can't even pronounce her name right? To know enough about her. I just know that she has a lot of ties to foreign governments, and she spends a lot of her money on American politics, mostly Trump. So
Trump right now, because
right.
Trump's in power.
Peekaboo.
Oh, it's Miriam. The guy called her Miri. They're on. I'm waiting for Miri Adelson to be in the Zach and Miri Make a Porno sequel. She very much could be there. What's the? I can't even remember. What was the other video, Bell? I had another Miriam Adelson video from the same. I think it was the American Israeli Alliance Forum or whatever the hell that thing's called that they were at.
SNM buying influence.
Yeah, because I swore there was a part of that in the. I thought it was in the first video that Bell brought up, but I guess I wasn't there. It must.
If you didn't find it, I got it.
Bell's got it.
Does he?
No, he does have it. He's shaking his head. Yes. We're on a roll.
Fucking champ.
Off and running. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is her actual speech. The Israeli American Council. That's what I was looking for.
She looks like she's gonna sing an 80s metal rock song.
Yeah, it's like if it's like if Meryl Streep were playing some hair metal lead singer. Yeah.
It looks like if the embodiment of a cigarette was making a speech at an Israeli conference.
That's anti-Semitic, Bell.
It's just her. Yeah.
Go ahead, roll it.
Under her leadership, the Department of Justice has made combating anti-Semitism a top priority, especially in response to the alarming rise in incidents following October 7. She brings moral clarity.
She's talking about Pam Bondi.
And an unwavering commitment to justice to this critical fight. Please welcome my friend, the 87th Attorney General of the United States, Pamela Bondi.
Pamela Bondi.
Miriam Adelson is amazing. What she has done for Israel, for our country, and for this world is second to none. Thank you, my friend.
Well, that's true.
The sad truth is, for way too long, anti-Semitism has been allowed to grow unchecked in this country. Too many institutions have abdicated their moral responsibility to speak up. Too many so-called leaders have stayed quiet. Actions have consequences, and inaction has consequences too.
Your silence is deafening.
We've seen violent protesters under the FACE Act for intimidating Jewish Americans worshiping at synagogues. This is the first time since its passage, the FACE Act in 1994, that it has been used to protect a house of worship. Working with Secretary Linda McMahon, who has been a champion for you as well, and Harmeet, we have secured a $200 million settlement with Columbia University for violating the civil rights of Jewish students and Jewish employees. We've secured a $75 million settlement with Northwestern University for anti-Semitic conduct. We've secured a $60 million settlement with Cornell that includes provisions to halt anti-Semitic conduct. And we've launched a full investigation into University of California's system for systematic anti-Semitism.
How fucking woke was that goddamn speech? Holy
shit. Talk about
shit.
identity politics.
Your silence is... I really hope that Pam Bondi gets up every morning and puts like hot fudge on her shoes, because the amount of time she has her foot in her mouth, she better be tasting something that tastes good. I hope she puts something on her shoes, because every time she speaks, this is what we get. We get just complete and utter violation, or at least speaking about complete and utter violations of one of the amendments, and she's the goddamn attorney general. And how often is it the First Amendment? Your silence is deafening. Where, you know, you have the federal government suing state institutions, in some cases private institutions, over mean words about the Israeli government.
Yeah. Like the thing, like anti-Semitism has gone unchecked for far too long.
Where? Where has it gone
where?
unchecked?
I just haven't seen it. I honestly haven't. You know what I mean? Like, you always see videos popping up of
The biggest load that we've seen.
Oh, that's fucking hick white redneck dropping a hard R. You see videos popping up like that once a month. You know, you see videos of Muslims being harassed. You see these videos. Was it just some anti-Semitic algorithm that kept this stuff for me? I'm starting to see that stuff now because it's being magnified.
It's so woke. They have all they have done.
It was just identity politics.
Well, it's even simpler than that, Corey, because all they've really done is they've just replaced the word racism with anti-Semitism. Pam Bondi literally said the words in that speech, systemic anti-Semitism. I thought that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
I thought there was no such thing as systemic bigotry of any kind.
It's just, you know, like all the tropes that they criticized for like 4 years, 8 years, 10 years about racism. Oh, everyone's a racist, you know, and this and that. Now it's just, they just plug and play like it was a fucking Mad Lib.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
So apparently I had those videos reversed. I had them labeled wrong, Bell. That was my folly, not yours. But yeah, so that's Pam
You're
Bondi.
fired. Get out of here.
It's okay.
That's it better be. That's Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States, standing up for her shadow president, Miriam Adelson.
And it's like, I get, know your audience. She was speaking as the arrays. What was that place you've called? The Israeli-American.
The American-Israeli Council.
Oh, at least they're polite enough to let us put the word America first. But
well, that'll change next year. BB's already working on it.
But
I just paid $88.
Yeah, it's just you know, like the simping was just like, what the fuck? Like it was just strictly just what they like, money please. Like you know, like it was just like what we've done just for you. It's just, yeah, I don't know. The whole tone was just weird. It felt like somebody like a super white politician who's Democratic and he's in the inner city where he's never been before and trying to give a speech at a Baptist church.
Daddy, you're my daddy.
Am I right? And I've done this for your community, trying to tap into that Martin Luther King, but not trying to make it obvious, and like
all those things that I've done for the blacks. I have black friends.
Right. Where's the cookout after this?
Am I invited to cookout?
I bet. Yeah, you know, just that. I better be invited to the cookout after this.
It's Pam Bondi, except she's going, am I invited to Shabbat Seder?
I better at least get one.
Seder?
I better at least get one bar mitzvah invitation.
I love your nieces.
Oh my god! I guess yeah.
Might as well be what she said. Oh yeah. She's on a roll when it comes to. Yeah, she's on a roll when it comes to what's going on in Minnesota as well. My favorite thing on the update since last week with regards to what's going on in Minneapolis and the ICE raids and the protests that almost inevitably turn into riots, and it's just like, here we go again. Like, every single time. And then, as you were pointing out before the show, Corey, it gets bastardized into the real reason why ICE being there is a problem, just like the real reason why George Floyd died it was a problem, or even if it wasn't why George Floyd died, like the issues with policing in Minneapolis being part of the reason why George Floyd died. No, instead it turns into, look at these people burning down their own city. Are they fucking idiots or what? It always rolls into a place where the entire reason why you started the movement and the protests for what I would even consider virtuous reasons, right? Because I'm not pro law enforcement, and especially not federal law enforcement. We can have discussions about local police and things like that.
I'm sorry.
No federal law enforcement.
Monopolization of violence, and how every single request by the government can and will ultimately end with a hand holding a gun if you don't comply to their orders. And I'm not sitting here like I'm some sort of addict and like we don't have law and order like we should. Like, obviously, don't do things that are illegal that could land you in that situation, especially knowing that the police can exacerbate that force, pretty much get away with it. But I still don't think some of these tactics we're seeing as of late are the best way to handle these situations, because then violence begets violence, and then it's just fodder, and then it's just everyone's getting plastered with 100 videos a day of a big line of protesters, a big line of ICE agents, and one of them is in an ICE agent's face, and then they get pepper sprayed, and it's like, well, you know that's gonna fucking happen. Like, why are we wasting our time and energy doing that part now? A march and that are two very different things. It's just,
and then it devolves into violence and who started it, who shot first, who pepper sprayed first, who kicked who first, who threw a fucking used condom at who first.
right. And
then
thinking about it is pretty wild, right? Like, it's not, I don't want to say that people are using these like gatherings as an excuse or like a way to blow off steam or anything like that, but it's like every time something happens and people can go to the streets instead of actually doing like civil work, it seems like they just do this because they're mad at something, and this is a reason to go out there, you know. And I can't imagine what they could possibly be mad at. We have just a great housing market and a bright future for American citizens on our trajectory. I don't understand what they could be so upset about.
Yeah, can't have a home the traditional way anymore. That's why conservatives say that liberals are mad. Deep down, they know they just want to have 6 kids and have their wives work at home.
Well, I mean, there's probably a lot of like it's again, it goes to the thing we always talk about, the caricature painted of people on the left and right. Like, if it's a 50-50 split in our country, there's like 165 million people who would consider themselves like liberals, you know, or like progressive. And one prominent one comes out who was like Chelsea Handler, or what was her name? What's her name? One of the big prominent people, it might not even have been the one I just named, who are like, I don't want kids, I'm happy this way.
Yeah, Chelsea did that too.
But so they become the poster child for half the fucking country.
Yeah, right.
And now there's just memes all the time, and like you just said it, like of like them trying to reject the traditional family. Like, I know a lot of people who are liberal who have the traditional family of a man,
right?
You know, and it's like,
or at least the closest thing you could get, because you know both people have to work in today's society,
right? And like, no, they probably want that too, but they're also pissed off they can't afford it,
right?
Like, I think that is a part of it. Like, you're probably right. Oh, they want socialism. It's like, why do they want socialism? Because the capitalism you're trying to sell is a bill of goods.
Yeah, well, because it's not real capitalism. Now I sound like a socialist. That wasn't real socialism.
Well, it's not. It's crony. You know, it's corporate socialism and then oligarchy. It's not a real free market.
It's the freest we have, but you're right. It's not free enough. I will say this, though. There are a handful of Minneapolis liberals that are absolutely handling this superbly. Bell, get the one video together. Shit, which one was it? You'll find it. So there was that picture that went around last week of the black couple sitting on the hood of the car with the firearms in their hands. The guy had really bad trigger control, I noticed, but either way. And then there was like this meltdown among like the pro-ICE MAGA crowd that are basically going, we didn't mean this when we said the Second Amendment, essentially, is what they're saying. And then there's this guy who comes out with a fucking gun on his chest. He has much better trigger control. And he's like, yeah, I'm out here protecting my fucking neighborhood from a tyrannical government. And the pro-ICE MAGA crowd doesn't know how do you react to this? How do you react to this? Because so many of these people are like pro Second Amendment. And then every time a liberal comes up to them and says, well, it's a joke that you want to protect yourself from a tyrannical government because the tyrannical government is going to have tanks and bombs and nukes and you wouldn't stand a chance. To which generally the pro 2A person will respond with something to the effect of, yeah, but if they know there are 400 million guns in the country and that any one of these houses could have multiple ones of them, it is going to make a tyrannical government think twice. But now you have this guy standing in front of his house trying to protect his neighborhood from what he perceives to be a tyrannical government, and they're fucking melting down over it. And this was reposted by Gunther Eagleman. Go ahead and roll it, Bell.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You live in the neighborhood? Yep, this is my block. This is my area. I don't go into other people's neighborhoods and try and intimidate them. I protect my people.
Are you giving out your name?
No, I'm okay with that. Our neighborhood's showing up.
You guys had a lot of people out here, right?
At least 30 or more.
Yeah.
40 or 50.
That's pretty good for a quick turnout.
This is, and I mean, I have not yet heard a good argument from a Trump supporting, ICE supporting individual for why what this guy is doing is not acceptable. I mean, a lot of them are smart enough to not try to like make a legal claim that like legally he can't be out there. They were smart enough to not take that route.
Right.
But they're certainly trying to take the moral high ground on this one.
Yeah, no, I made this joke at work the other day. I said it's interesting that even though the Democrats will probably still try to push gun control, it seems like a lot of progressives and like liberals and Democrats have like realized, oh, you know what? Maybe the 2A were onto something. Like you're seeing, like we've talked about it for a few years, SRA's memberships going up, and different things like that. Like people that lean more left are buying guns now, and it's just in time for all of the groundwork that Trump is laying for a tyrannical government for the Democrats to come back and take them all away.
Don't say that.
Well,
you don't need all that.
Oh, Christ, the dildo's back!
I just wanted to point.
But yeah, no, it's the double standard of everything. You know, two of the biggest gun control actions done federally, not by a state, you know, with like gun control laws and stuff on a state to state basis, but like federally was Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump, two Republicans.
Red flag laws,
banning the bump stock, which is more of a novelty item than anything. And the Black Panthers and guns, like some of the first gun laws in California were done by Reagan because the Black Panthers.
Oh yeah, isn't there a Black Panther group going around Minneapolis too with open carrying? I didn't see I saw a little bit about that.
I've seen some Boogaloo boys. They're all out there
trying to protect us from our tyrannical government.
Execute Order 66.
it might be coming sooner than we think. What else? Oh, you dug into this one a little bit more deeply, Corey, with regards to the situation in Minneapolis. The ICE using administrative warrants.
Yes.
Which I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Corey, a massive violation of the Fourth Amendment to have administrative warrants. So when we say administrative warrants, what do we mean? We mean warrants that are basically assessed but not signed by a judge.
Yeah. So what they are is they're admitted by like a government agency, not a judge, like ICE, DHS, IRS, and OSHA. You know, and basically, but as they've been used up until now, it's they don't have to have administrative or probable cause, but it doesn't like automatically allow entry into a private home, and is also often used in civil, not criminal enforcement. And wait a minute,
you'll find it.
I had one more. Oh,
Shut
like
up,
regular,
bitch!
like it's typical, and they're typically used for like civil and like regulatory law. Well, now ICE is talking about using it for going into people's homes to get fucking people out, and these people are showing up with administrative warrants and saying that it is what they're saying that that's like a document just giving them permission to break into people's homes.
Right, and that was part of that. I'm assuming that's the piece you have in front of you right now, Corey.
Yeah. So the memo signed by ICE's acting
piece.
director states that administrative warrants are sufficient for forced entry if there's a final order of removal.
And what regulatory body or which area of the judicial branch signed off on said memo? I'm going to guess nobody.
Right. Well, it would have been ICE, just the ICE boss. Just basically is just
Christy Nome.
She's basically just signing administrative warrants for allowing force of entry into people's homes.
Or Tom Homan. I don't know. Does Tom Homan oversee ICE?
Which you can still legally deny. You don't have to open your door. You just ask them is it a judicial warrant? Is it an administrative warrant? And my recommendation would be, if it's an administrative warrant and you want to flex your Fourth Amendment, then tell them they're not allowed to enter and call the police.
Well, in Minneapolis, they won't come.
Well, they would come. Like,
Cops are just staying the fuck out of it.
I know, dude. All the police chiefs. Did you see that? I forgot to look it up, but all the police chiefs and stuff, I guess, are like all talking about how like their off-duty cops are being harassed by ICE, and like they're just getting complaint after complaint, and like they're not about it.
Yeah, I do believe I saw something about an off-duty. I don't even know if it was off-duty, but a police officer having a gun pointed in their face by ICE. I could be totally making that up, but I swear to God, I saw something like that. We can't keep track of everything. We're just a couple of humble knuckleheads like Tim Walz.
Yeah, off-duty police officers in the Twin Cities have been targeted by federal agents looking for proof of citizenship. And like if the cops are saying this isn't right, like, so now what do you do? Back the blue? You know, like, what do you do? It's just, what is going on? You know,
it's
but
it's the meme of the superhero pushing the buttons.
Bell, see if you could find the video of like that Minnesota chief of police talking about how they're concerned about how the federal government is doing these operations and how their officers have been harassed and how citizens have been harassed. But
well, it's because they're woke libtards, Corey. That's why it's police department's just woke libtards.
No, it's because these people are just.
You can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
It's an actual audio from an ICE agent. It's actual audio from an ICE agent to a police officer.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Arresting me for what?
I'm not allowed to stand up for myself? I thought this was America. Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
He had a weird accent. I don't know. It's just a drunk cop at the bar.
Yeah.
He
Probably
was
just,
slurring his words.
probably just beat up his wife.
And he had to go to the bar to cool off. I love how
maybe you go down on her, dude. Don't be selfish. Don't be a sexist.
They're on the side of the Constitution, but we're still like, nah.
I
it's
mean,
like, it's like when the Crips and the Bloods have a peace, like a truce.
It's like
okay, but you know, you still.
We're at a point now where I think it's a legitimate question, though. Like, can the Constitution be saved at this point? Because I actually give Trump a little bit of credit for honesty when it comes to this stuff, or not even necessarily Trump himself, him also, his administration, for their just open and honest violations of the Constitution. Because all administrations prior, they kind of did it behind closed doors, right? They did it with pens. They did it with auto pens. They did it with paperwork and lawfare. As to where Trump's just like, yeah, we're just gonna send this federal Gestapo to your neighborhood to fucking harass you into giving up people that aren't supposed to be on this particular landmass at this point in time. And one of the defenses has been, well, you know, this isn't new. And they'll show the numbers, right? Like Trump's deported like 1.5 million or whatever it is. And then Obama's numbers are way higher. Biden's numbers are way higher. Bush's numbers are way higher. And you look at that, I look at that and I think two different things. One is, okay, so you're telling me that the Trump administration is firing off its Gestapo into the streets using administrative warrants and still can't fucking deport people at a clip that is responsible. Like, so wait a minute. So wait a minute. So the other thing that I think is, that just tells me that Biden, Obama, and Bush were actually like way better at deporting people than this administration is. So either way, it just shows the incompetence of this administration when it comes to this issue.
They were quieter about it and they did way more.
Yeah, like what? It's almost like you're gonna
like it's almost like if you go hunting for deer and you trounce around in the woods and fucking wear fucking like bells, and then all the deer are scattered and they're harder to get and shoot.
And they start blowing whistles in the woods.
the deer do, yeah, it's almost, yeah, exactly. You know, you make a shit ton of noise, you're gonna scare whatever it is you're after.
I think Bell, you got that video right that Corey asked for. You can go ahead and throw that up there. So this
I don't have a video. I have a link.
Oh, this is.
I couldn't find the video, except I mean it's on Fox News. But there's actually a bunch of them. So there's not like a video, but there's like a bunch of chiefs that got together. Allegedly, I sent the video, like the link to you guys. But yeah, they're saying that off-duty cops are being racially profiled and fucked with by ICE. And there's
it's like the Apaches and the Cherokees getting together to try and throw out the white man.
Yeah. So
just that might be
it's not just I said that's just not one city. I was reading a whole bunch, but I sent you one by Fox because that's interesting, you know.
I'll share it.
Last 2 weeks.
Oh, you got one.
As law enforcement community have been
I was waiting for the ads.
Endless complaints about civil rights violations in our streets from U.S. citizens. What we're hearing is they're being stopped in traffic stops or on the street with no cause and being forced to demand paperwork to determine if they are here legally. We started hearing from our police officers the same complaints as they fell victim to this while off duty. Every one of these individuals is a person of color who has had this happen to them. In Brooklyn Park, I wish I could tell you that this was an isolated incident. In fact, many of the chiefs standing behind me have similar incidents with their off-duty officers. This isn't just important because it happened to off-duty police officers. But what it did do is we know that our officers know what the Constitution is, they know what right and wrong is, and they know when people are being targeted.
I am seeing and hearing about people in Hennepin County stopped, questioned, and harassed solely because of the color of their skin, solely being the operative word here. This is not okay now, and it's never been okay.
Yo, what are you, a
And
DEI
now, that same
hire?
discrimination is also spilling into
man.
the law enforcement community. Today, that trust is being damaged, broken by the questionable and sometimes unethical actions of some federal agents, particularly in these last recent weeks. I want to be clear that I am not saying all federal agents.
That's what they're
all of
gonna
us
say,
know
though.
that we have
She's just
become
some
victim
liberal
if
cop.
somebody or one person in law
that's what they're gonna
enforcement
say.
does something wrong. We all pay
That's
the
what
cost.
they are going to say.
We cannot afford to be
You sure about that?
stereotyping or generalizing anyone.
Can we find a way to make sure that we can do these things without scaring the hell out of our community members and freaking everyone out? People are afraid right now, and I get it. We watch the news and we see very, very angry groups of people out protesting. But the people that we're dealing with as police chiefs are the people that are scared to death, that are afraid to go outside, not because their status is in question, but because they're hearing and they're seeing that they know people that are getting stopped by the way that they looked, and they don't want to take that risk.
Yeah, dude. Like, you know what they're really saying? It's like, again, and still there's still cops. But it's like it's fucking imagine a nice family picnic going on in the park, and there's a hornet's nest a tree away, and it's fine, they're coexisting, the hornet's nest isn't doing nothing, and then you run up and hit it with a rock and then get in your car and drive away. Like, ICE is coming into their town, kicking up a fucking hornet's nest, causing all of this chaos. And then they're like, watch, dude, it's like they did in the other states. They're going to go, oh, this operation's done. Okay, let's go, boys. Mission accomplished. And they're going to leave. And everyone's going to be behind. We're just burning buildings and people fucking pissed. And the cops are like, God damn it. Now there's going to be a local shooting. And then it's just going to get even worse. Like, because we're only trained marginally more than these guys.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the city you're in, but yeah.
And it's just, but yeah. And it's funny too. It's like, whoa, hold on, guys. We're one of you. No, show us your papers. What the fuck is this? That's it. We don't like these guys either. Like, oh my God. I get it. We laugh to keep from crying, but it's like that police, like, you don't see that. You only see that shit in like 1800 westerns when the federales show up to a sheriff in his local town, and he's like, I'm the one with the jurisdiction here. This is my town. Like, you only see that shit in movies, and now we're seeing it in real life.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
But hey,
either way,
as guys who want smaller government, we have to applaud.
Yeah, I mean, that's why
Was this going to be another Bundy Ranch standoff in Minnesota?
It could be. Can you imagine a shootout between like the Minneapolis police and ICE?
Well, ICE would probably win. I mean,
eventually they would.
I mean, the cop, but I think in the shootout, the cops would win. They're probably better trained.
Yeah, and the shootout,
weapons.
they probably have more resources. However, eventually the National Guard would be called in, and those bad cops would be put down, because we got to get these brownies out of here. Got to get them out of here by any means necessary.
And the fucking state reps are the ones that gave up all their own power for this shit. It's insane.
Yeah, Congress in general. We trusted those.
But yeah, this is a serious breach of our Fourth Amendment rights. You know, the Fourth Amendment, like, you needed a warrant signed by a judge to enter your private home.
But they have absolute immunity, Corey, because JD Vance stands above the Constitution. What JD Vance wants and Donald Trump wants, they get. They're above the Constitution. So these ICE agents have absolute immunity.
Shut up, bitch! Judicial warrants must be issued by a judge, not just an agency. They must be specific. They have to say who, what, where, and can be searched or seized. Probable cause is required, and no unreasonable searches. And like that's the thing is right. Like common exceptions for a warrant is you have to consent.
Well, that's why I asked,
and that's what's scary, right? Because people that don't know the difference between the two, and someone says you have to let us in, we have a warrant, and you don't like, you just hear warrant, you're gonna be like, oh, they're allowed in.
Well, isn't that another reason why no-knock warrants are bullshit?
100%. Or like that, me even, it's just like informants. Informants are a workaround of warrants as well. Because they're like fucking vampires if you let them in. If you say yes, come in, then they can do that. But they can't unless you give them that permission.
I thought this was America. Huh?
Maybe Alex Jones
America?
is right. Maybe they are a
sorry,
bunch
I
of
thought this was
blood-sucking
America.
succubuses.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's why I asked the question: is can the Constitution? I don't mean to sound hyperbolic, but like, can the Constitution be saved at this point when we have an administration that isn't even like silently trying to degrade the Constitution? They're just fucking doing it out in the open. I don't know, man. And listen, for those that want to play the "I told you so" game with me about like Donald Trump and how much worse he is, you're still not going to convince me that he is any worse or better than any president we've had in 30 years. The difference is he's just really bad out loud. And
you know what, Dan?
Those other guys were really bad quietly. Very, very quietly.
I keep this on my desk right here. This right here has my name on it. Spelt wrong. Boss can never get my name right. But it's absolute bullshit that in our lifetimes, this is the second time that us as American citizens have to carry papers just to protect our ass. Okay, this is just a short 5 years ago. 6 years ago in 2 months, but to whom it may concern, this letter is to certify that Corey Walsh is an employee and is directly involved in the manufacturing industry, processing fasteners with adhesives and sealants, and as such is providing this service as a function of an essential business as defined by the executive order by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, issued March 23, 2020.
That was
Person's
I never
engaged.
had one of those. I'm a traveling sales rep. I never had one of those.
Fucking papers.
Yeah.
This is the second time, once under a Democrat, once under Republican, that we have to carry fucking papers.
Papers, please.
It's absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah. But yeah, we can keep arguing about voter ID and things like that. Things that are like everybody has an identification. Voter ID shouldn't be that fucking hard, but here we are. Yeah, we already have identification. I think it's reasonable to carry identification, but it's not illegal not to, right? Like if I forget my driver's license at home and I'm not driving a car and I don't have my ID, I don't get arrested for not having my driver's license with me. Yeah, I might. I guess I might. Yeah. I'm white enough, dude. I'm pretty blonde. I just need to make sure I don't get too big of a tan.
I know. Yeah, it's pretty easy for us because we blend in so much in this country that we
have white privilege.
Someone in Mexico where the border crossed them who's been there for fucking 200 years just because of the color of their skin might get harassed. Like, that's bullshit.
You want to play
Native American people who also look a little bit Latino in some aspects?
They're all the same.
Like, it's the ones who have been here like the longest.
You can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
It's fucked up.
You know what else is fucked up? Church raids and protests in the middle of church services. We're getting religion involved now, folks. What's Christian? What's not Christian? ICE versus the public of the city of Minneapolis. So You have the backstory on this, right, Corey? The gentleman that took a group and barged into a church.
I don't know anything about the people. Oh, I know Don Lemon was there. But
why was Don Lemon there? Don Lemon is the worst.
Yeah, like that. Like that's just it. Like
he just started shoehorning himself into situations.
How did he end up like at that protest? Like I don't know, man. This one just feels. The more I think about it now, yeah, it does feel a little psyopy. How the fuck was Don Lemon just there? This was a very organized thing. It's like, who was there to organize it? And talking a little bit earlier, like going back to that, like this does not help any cause you're trying to advocate. The guy that is a pastor there, he just happened to be, this guy just happened to be a pastor at this church and a field officer for ICE. That's I don't know, dude. But yeah, the video.
This group thought that they were making some statement barging into a church in the middle of service to call out its pastor. Now you can think the pastor's an asshole. I think there are a lot of pastors out there that are assholes. And I would probably definitely call this guy. That was redundant. I would probably call this guy an asshole for being the head of the immigration field office or whatever.
But you do it to his face or on Grindr.
Yeah, well, definitely on Grindr. That'd be the first place I would go. You want to dox a federal agent, you check out Grindr first. I guarantee you can find him there. But that's because he's running interference for federal law enforcement. So like, fuck that guy. But barging into his church in the middle of a service is kind of like me barging into Corey's home and protesting in the middle of his fucking living room. Like
right.
Like the right to free protest is not that, right? That's not, I could stand outside Corey's house and protest. I could stand in the middle of the road and protest.
Yeah.
No, protest in his living room without his invite in.
That would be like that Jake Lang doofus, like during his protests in the street.
Oh, he got his ass whooped, didn't he, dude? He got smacked around.
And then like him barging into like a mosque during a what's it called? Like a sermon. I don't know what they call it.
Whatever their service is. Yeah. Sorry, we're not.
But there's some law, and Bellis, go ahead and see if you could look this up. But there's some law. It was because of the KKK. I forget what it's called. It's like the FACE Act or something like that. But it's something to do to protect people. Like interrupting a religious like ceremony of any religion in this country is like a big no-no. And that some of these people might actually get in trouble for this, because even though it's like the church is nonprofit, it's still like private property, you know, and so people might get in trouble for this one. But
that's what you call putting on a show. That's putting on a show. That's
yeah,
bastardizing the cause. And you know how I feel about
protest his house. You know, stand in the street in front of his house. Stand in front of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Barging.
Yeah, in front of the church.
It is the FACE Act, the freedom of access to clinic entrances. But
that's not the one I'm thinking of. Then I don't think.
No, it is. It is. It's a federal law prohibiting the use of force, threat of force, or physical obstruction to injure, intimidate, or interfere with anyone obtaining or providing reproductive health services or exercising their right to religious freedom at a place of worship. It protects clinics, staff, and worshipers.
Yeah,
so,
if you were in there praying, when church shootings happen subjectively, like put yourself in that scenario. It's like when we talk about how our students are afraid in schools because school shootings happen. Well, church shootings happen too. Imagine being in there. There's this really calm music playing. This guy is saying words that are speaking to you and they're uplifting, and it's all peaceful and quiet in there. The band's like playing this soft music. The lights are turned down low a little bit. And then all of a sudden 300 people come barging in the back. That would scare the shit out of you.
Calm down! You fucking calm down!
It would, right? And those people just, whether they agree with what ICE is doing or not, like you can't Like they're not committing the crimes. You can't go. What is this, North Korea? That's
Well,
a thought crime.
And
like I don't know.
Bell, go ahead and pull up the Don Lemon video, because as Corey said, Don Lemon shoehorned himself into the situation again. Like Don Lemon right now reminds me of just like a washed up wrestler on like the local circuits that's just like hopped up on every drug they can find, and they're just a shadow of themselves. But like every once in a while they'll pop up in the tabloids. You know what I'm talking about? The old worn out wrestler. You know, if you've seen the Mickey Rourke movie,
right?
That's what I'm talking about. Like that kind of guy who just doesn't have it anymore. Some people still want to see him perform. And that's what Don
like
Lemon
Andre
is.
the Giant last fight. Wasn't it Andre the Giant's last fight when he was kind of just in the ring? Just
Oh yeah, his
fumbling
back
around?
didn't work. His back didn't work against Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3. Yeah.
Actually, well, that's before the Don Lemon one. I'm sorry, Dan jumped ahead of the.
Oh, did you have another
context
one to
here.
play?
Yeah, you just keep that one. Remove the screen.
There we go.
I'll share this one first.
I don't know what it is yet. I'm really excited.
It's from the same event.
Say nothing.
It's just
Oh, is this the raid? Is this when they roll in there?
yeah, the raid.
The raid of private citizens on a house of worship.
Renee gun, don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. This is the house of God, and we are eyes up.
Like they were just in there having church. Like, how is this conducive to the movement?
I understand that what is happening is wrong, and I agree with that, but this can't happen. This is the house of the Lord. Preaching the word of God while dressed in a suit. Did Jesus wear a suit? No, he didn't.
Did Jesus wear a suit?
You are ridiculous. Stand up, fight back. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Ice out. Ice out. Ice out. Ice out. Ice out.
In the name of Jesus. Ice out. Ice out.
Ice out. This is what community looks like.
Is it?
Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Ice Age have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Ice Age have got to go.
The kid just standing there reading the Bible is gonna go viral, I bet.
Out now. Renee good. Renee good. It's our duty to fight for freedom.
And then it looks like everyone just left. Just them in there. But yeah, it's
our duty to fight for freedom, as long as it's not religious freedom to
let us
worship in their house of God.
Our freedom is more important than your freedom. Like, I don't know, like
some pigs are more equal, man.
Dude, we just talked about it on the show. Like, I am vehemently against what ICE is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that now, you get grouped in with that.
Yeah. Well, lowest common denominator, right? There's always the lowest common
degrees.
There's always the lowest common denominator. That's
but it's
basically
just-
all social media is the lowest common denominator of whatever issue you're talking about.
Like, the polls are starting to sway, even in MAGA, like 30% of MAGA. Let's see if you could find that Bell MAGA poll on ICE tactics. It's like 30% of MAGA thinks what ICE is doing is like going too far. That's a big deal. What better way to get them back into the loop of thinking liberals and progressives are crazy than having them storm a church? Like, the public opinion was swaying. Now is the time that you start doing the ballot initiatives, the stuff that I keep fucking talking about, and doing the petitions and primarying and running an election of a grassroots of sorts against your representatives, to have people that will have a backbone to go in and fight against this stuff. Like little grassroots, like pack groups and stuff like that, to like, it's just, there's so many more things you can do now. Everyone knows what ICE is doing. If 30% of MAGA is against it, then obviously they think it's fucked up.
And now you're going to have the religious right using something like this,
who was probably someone you could get on your side the most.
Right. But they're going to use it as like, you know, I could see the, I don't know, the Laura Loomer crowd, you know, using, although she only cares about Israel, so maybe that was a bad example. But the immigration version of whatever Laura Loomer is using this, videos like this and incidents like this as a propaganda piece to make it look like anybody who's against ICE, as you were saying, Corey, is this type of person that would like interrupt a house of worship on it during a service.
Yeah, it's like it's like a group of people storming your kid's school because they want the Department of Education to be abolished.
You've just given me an idea.
Department of Education ended now. Department of Education ended now.
Bell, were you able to find that poll in the Don Lemon video? I think we should get to that too, because that's fucking hilarious. Why is this guy shoehorning himself into the silliest of situations? I don't know where he came from.
I couldn't find a MAGA poll, but I mean every single other poll is a majority of Americans saying ICE has gone too far.
Even Republicans?
Yeah, and in the poll that Corey's talking about was, I think it's from the New York Times. And Trump had a huge tiff about that today because he threatened them about the survey. So, but I can't find the actual survey or the polls. Weird.
That's okay.
So there's a
two boys kissing. I'm looking. You're talking about
538. And on 538, you could typically find all these polls, but they don't have a search. Huh.
Don't worry about it.
Anyways, yeah, like the public opinion is really starting to sway against this, and stuff like this doesn't help that.
Let's get to Don. I want to make fun of Don Lemon so bad.
Yeah, go ahead and play that Don Lemon video, Bell.
Okay, fine.
We lost him for a minute, so he's probably you gotta dig it up again, don't you? Oh, there he is. There it is. See, he's quick to it. Quick on the draw.
Do you like that gong sound, Dan? I figured we could do that when someone makes a joke that the other person doesn't think is funny.
Nope.
You say no? Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to gong that.
Go ahead and roll it, Bell. Let's make fun of Don Lemon. Look how bundled up he is.
I mean, this is unacceptable.
It's cold, dude.
It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So, but
he's talking to the pastor.
I have to take care of my flock. And
listen, we live in there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus.
Okay, pause
that's
it.
That's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus.
This is how you know Don Lemon is a fucking imbecile. He's trying to play a gotcha game with the pastor of the church where he goes, we have a right to assemble. And as I said earlier, I don't have the right to barge into your living room to start protesting. Like this actually is not a First Amendment issue. In fact, if anybody's violating the First Amendment, it's the people barging in and stopping someone's right to peacefully worship. Now, it's not quite the same thing because to me, I view the Constitution, it's really hard for citizens to violate the Constitution to where it's not for especially the federal government to do so. However, we have other laws. As Bell pointed out earlier, the FACE Act would be the law that would prevent these private citizens from rolling into this church and doing what they did. And they did it anyway.
Yeah,
Don
I think
Lemon,
Don Lemon just got not subpoenaed or not court-martialed. What's it called when like
court-martialed? Was he in the military?
Not military. But yeah, he's I think they're like seeking charges against him for being a part of this.
Well, I got a feeling that would be a little bit of a pet project for Donald Trump. He would probably probably want to make sure that Pam Bondi writes that one up. But yeah, like Don Lemon doesn't even like he doesn't even understand the Constitution. And like not like deep dives into the Constitution, right? Because you and I both appreciate the Constitution. We're not going to sit here and we never try to sit here and pretend like we know every word of the Constitution and what all of the articles mean from front to back, but we know the basics.
So it looks
doesn't even know the basics.
So 2 hours ago, well, there's even reports of it 9 hours ago, but a judge rejects bid to bring federal charges against Don Lemon.
Oh, that's too bad.
Which I mean, if he's not a part of the protest and he is just documenting, then it is free press, right?
Peekaboo. Yeah, I'm
That's
not
what
saying I want Don Lemon arrested. I just want the world to know how stupid he is.
And now people think he's less stupid because the judge agrees with him.
Oh man, but was it a liberal judge? Was it an Obama appointed judge?
I can say, I bet.
Yep. So it's always so predictable. All right, keep playing, Bell. We're about halfway through this bad boy. It's only about
Jesus Christ. I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me though.
We're here to worship Jesus.
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why we're here.
Okay.
That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk
these folks that just bars
the only one who's willing to talk.
Yeah. Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to
unless you're here to worship. Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship.
Yeah.
We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Not a good enough Christian because you like penises.
I never sucked any ding dongs.
Like that's oh my god, it is so cringe, that little game that Don Lemon tried to play there. That passive aggressive, like moral high ground. First over the Constitution, which he didn't even know, and then he wanted to be like, do you think Jesus would love the people that just rolled into your church? And it's just like, oh, it's just so fucking gross. He's so gross.
Yeah, that hurts the cause.
Ah,
boy, I hope he's qualified.
Who, the pastor?
Don Lemon, he's not. He's not qualified for anything.
Go Bills.
We don't have the video of Jake Lang getting his ass kicked, do we? I don't think we do. We don't have to play it. But I'm sorry. There is not a piece of my soul that feels bad for that dude. You know, like the guy that rolls in, picks a fight, and then gets beat up and then calls the cops. That's what Jake Lang is.
And was saved by minorities.
Yeah, he hadn't rolled
all the video is like,
ew, don't touch me. That's actual audio from
all the video. It's like minorities like helping him and shield him and get him out of there. And he was just like, looks like he just got in a 15-round fight with Jake Paul, because that's someone who Jake Paul would fight, not an actual fighter. And
ooh, set that up. Live on Netflix.
Jake Lang versus Jake Paul.
Lang Paul. No, as soon as Jake Paul punched him, he'd turtle and call the cops. Back to blue, baby. We had Trump at
See what happens when you judge people by the content of their skin.
The content of their skin?
Yeah, not the content of their character, but the color of their skin. It's white people that did this, dude. You just want an all white country. Not all white people are great.
No, that's true.
Because now what people perhaps had never seen before can be seen to know what's possible.
Jake Lang is the human embodiment of that drop. We had Trump at the World Economic Forum as well in Davos. And what came out of that, basically there was two things that came out of that. One being Trump ultimately leaving Davos, backing down on the Greenland situation, but also Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney actually giving what I thought was a hell of a speech. He's wrong about some stuff, but he also tells the truth about the global rules-based order being a sham for a considerably long time. I don't know where you want to start. You want to start with Trump? I think it's better to start with Trump, and then we can kind of get into Mark Carney.
I saw a couple clips.
Bell, find that first video. Find that first video of Trump's Davos speech about the Greenland acquisition. What were you saying, Corey?
I saw a couple clips. I didn't see the whole thing. You know, if you've heard one Trump speech, you heard them all.
He sounded exhausted in this one.
He's what? He's 80 years old.
Yeah, he is 80, and there's people calling him out for supposedly accidentally calling Greenland Iceland. Yeah,
it's like,
I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, wait, that's what you wanted this whole time? Take it.
Go ahead and roll it, Bill.
To say a few words of Greenland.
Awkward laugh.
I was going to leave it out of the speech, but I think I would have been reviewed very negatively. I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark. Tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled. We did it. We felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory, and hold it we did at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark.
Literally.
We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it.
You sure about that?
Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice. But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also.
So we did it for ourselves also. And then he goes on to talk about, you know, how it's important, and Denmark can't defend it, and it's a lease, and you don't defend a lease, but you do defend something that you own. And honestly, Trump's kind of right about that. That's why rental properties are always trash, because if you don't own the house, what the fuck do you care? But if you own your own house, you tend to take care of it a little bit more. So he's kind of right about that. But I still don't understand what the point is, because relations between Russia and the United States and China and the United States, as pointed out by John Mearsheimer on Breaking Points yesterday, those relations are actually relatively cool right now. I mean, they really are.
Right.
And how much of that is because the United States is distracted in other places with Trump's weird land grabs and Israel nudging Trump to bomb Iran, but then don't invade Iran. Don't bomb Iran now because there's no way to get boots on the ground and hold it, and they'll retaliate against Israel. So just the sheer amount of distractions. And Trump going after sort of smaller nations to bully them around for some reason that can't figure out. Don't do that. Don't lose any beer. But then Donald Trump had a meeting with, I don't know how to pronounce this man's name. Is it Mark Rutte? He's the prime minister of the Netherlands and also the NATO security or secretary general. And he's coming down a set of steps, not golden stairs, but a set of steps. And he's asked a bunch of questions about reporters and essentially, or I'm sorry, a bunch of questions about Greenland by reporters. And essentially, Donald Trump caved. And why did he cave? Because his precious markets took a pretty nasty hit over his threats of tariffs. If you weren't on board with the United States taking Greenland from Denmark or buying Greenland from Denmark, whatever the verbiage you want to use is. And stocks and bonds fell simultaneously, which is extraordinarily rare. But why did that happen? And it's mostly due to fears of destabilization of trade with Europe and the fear of tariffs causing what?
Higher prices.
Starts with an I.
Inflation.
Hey! So it's like the markets are now telling you. They've been telling you for a while, but they're now telling you that inflation comes from tariffs.
Yeah. And so like this whole Greenland thing, like sharing a map right here. Here's Greenland. Here's Russia. You know, China's right behind them. Strategically, makes sense. You could get it. You get it. But you can't just bully your allies into giving you land. It'd be like if I was your neighbor and you have a tree and that tree, the shade of it goes away from my fence into your yard at about 4 o'clock, but I know I can get 2 more hours of shade if I move my fence over 4 feet. And I'm just like, I'm moving my fence over 4 feet.
We can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way.
Yeah, you're going to come home one day and the fence is just moved. You know, or like
with a pit bull guarding it.
Or coming to some solution with your neighbor. Like, hey, would you be upset if I lower the privacy fence by 2 feet to gain an extra hour of shade in my backyard? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And it's like, I get why we would want Greenland. People in Greenland don't get why they'd want to be a part of America. They're so
there's videos mocking them, and
they're all doing the fentanyl bend or the fentanyl lean.
Is from Greenland mocking becoming a part of the United States, which I kind of understand. Why would you want to be a part of this shit show right now?
Oh, they would lose their health care. You know,
they're like
all these countries are already under the nuclear umbrella of America anyways, so they're protected.
Well, actually, Trump. I'm glad you brought that up because that's the next video of Trump essentially telling Canada that they should just be grateful. Go ahead and throw that one up there, Bell. Here, I'll add it to the stage. You just play it. No, I guess I can't. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. There we go. Go ahead and roll it.
We're building a golden dome that's going to, just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your prime minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. They should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Jesus
Christ. Golden dome.
He made fun of me.
Just by its very nature.
He really didn't.
It started over again. But it's like, is that like alluding to what he said about being a middle of the pack country?
Get the Carney video ready, Bell. Yeah, so this is, I mean, Trump is having decent relations with Russia and China, considering right now. So where do you gain the manufactured consent to grow your military? You do things like Venezuela. You do things like threaten Denmark over Greenland. You go for these sort of middling powers in the West because it's kind of safe at this point. And Trump doesn't give a shit about NATO. Trump wants to dissolve NATO. And honestly, I actually don't really have an issue with that. Because when Trump says things like the rest of NATO doesn't really pull its weight with regards to its with its own protection because of NATO, he's not wrong. But Sagar and Jetty pointed this out, I believe, today on his show on Breaking Points, where he was like, there's kind of a reason that it works that way. And it's because the United States, or maybe Crystal made this point. I can't remember. It was one of them. But we oversee so much of the defense because the dollar is the world's reserve currency. So it's kind of a price that you pay for having the world's reserve currency.
Yeah,
you have the most power.
I know it's real easy, like, especially because, like, you know, like Trump does have like a bit of a leg to stand on when he talks about how they don't carry their weight when it comes to NATO. But it does still have its role, not necessarily in like defending the like us having each other's back, or like America being protected from like nuclear war or anything like that. But it also is a bit of a leash, because when it comes to NATO, like, let's be honest, it is America that's like ruling the roost. They also have a leash on all those countries and are able to pull them back. Because, like, look how eager Poland was to jump into the Ukraine-Russia war when that shit first started to pop off. And they couldn't because they were NATO. If it wasn't for NATO, and not like, it would be a lot worse. And everyone says, well, yeah, because Russia would have just invaded the country next to it and the next one. It's like, no, they fucking wouldn't have. They couldn't even invade Ukraine. But it kept a lot of our allies from fucking just goose stepping right into war with Russia.
Yeah, the concern was that if Poland attacks Russia
can attack Poland, and it's game on.
And then NATO is obligated to defend is obligated to defend Poland, and now all of a sudden we have a world war. Yeah, problematic. Wouldn't have been great.
NATO is one of the sole reasons that didn't happen. I'm not being a globalist. I'm not being anything like that, but like treaties and like having allies, like you can't be a complete isolationist and cut yourself off from the world and create unpredictability. The reason why everyone puts up with America is because they're predictable. The reason why everyone puts up with American hegemony. I said it right.
Hegemony.
We have white privilege.
I don't know, but this is a speech that Trump was talking about with regards to Mark Carney. Go ahead and throw that one up there, Bell. This isn't the whole speech. It was like I think Carney's speech was like 20 minutes or something like that. But
Trump spoke for like an hour, didn't he?
Something like that. Yeah, like an hour and a half. But Carney, I think this is a little bit chopped up, but it's basically the rules-based order is done, and he thinks that the smaller NATO nations should kind of band together. I don't want to say against the United States, but be more free from both United States influence, Russian influence, and Chinese influence. Yeah. I personally don't think that's possible. But anyway, go ahead and roll it, Bill.
Yeah, well, real quick. So Trump comes out and he talks about how he wants to make this board of peace for the measly fee of $1 billion for a lifetime seat. Mm-hmm. And where does that money go? Doesn't it go to some bank in UAE or something like that?
Stashed away in Dubai.
So Carney goes,
it goes straight into a washing machine.
We're gonna make our own board of League of Nations.
But I'm not allowed in your club. I'll make my own club.
Called the middle.
Go ahead, Bell. Go ahead and roll it.
In 1978, the Czech dissident Václav Havel, later president, wrote an essay called "The Power of the Powerless." And in it, he asked a simple question: how did the communist system sustain itself? And his answer began with the greengrocer. Every morning, this shopkeeper places a sign in his window: "Workers of the world unite." He doesn't believe it. No one does. But he places the sign anyway to avoid trouble, to signal compliance, to get along. And because every shopkeeper on every street does the same, the system persists. Not through violence alone, but through the participation of ordinary people in rituals they privately know to be false. Havel called this living within a lie. The system's power comes not from its truth, but from everyone's willingness to perform as if it were true. And its fragility comes from the same source. When even one person stops performing, when the greengrocer removes his sign, the illusion begins to crack. Friends, it is time for companies and countries to take their signs down. For decades.
Yeah, now, everyone's counting those claps and think, all right, those are all the middle of the pack countries.
For decades, countries like Canada prospered under what we called the rules-based international order. We joined its institutions, we praised its principles, we benefited from its predictability. And because of that, we could pursue values-based foreign policies under its protection. We knew the story of the international rules-based order was partially false, that the strongest would exempt themselves when convenient, that trade rules were enforced asymmetrically. And we knew that international law applied with varying rigor depending on the identity of the accused or the victim. This fiction was useful. And American hegemony in particular helped provide public goods, open sea lanes, a stable financial system, collective security, and support for frameworks for resolving disputes. So we placed the sign in the window. We participated in the rituals. And we largely avoided calling out the gaps between rhetoric and reality. This bargain no longer works. Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Over the past 2 decades, a series of crises in finance, health, energy, and geopolitics have laid bare the risks of extreme global integration. But more recently, great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. You cannot live within the lie of mutual benefit through integration when integration becomes the source of your subordination.
Well, I don't think Trump would disagree with Mark Carney on the fact that the global rules-based order is falling, and that there's a rupture, as
Trump would have disagreed.
As Carney put it.
He just told him he needs to be grateful.
We're here to protect you. Now, so Mark Carney's right.
Did you ever see that meme of the guy choking the white girl and being like, "Stop resisting! Don't you know we're trying to save you from being killed by illegals?"
Yeah. And that is essentially what Trump said in his portion of that portion of his speech. But Mark Carney is right about several things there with regards to what American hegemony brought to the world early on. And then once it became very, very quickly the world power, it used its leverage against the rest of the West. And you could say that that's a good thing. It's better to have the power than not, right? I'm sure several people would say that. But that has basically come to an end with everything that's right in front of our face, whether it's, as you said, as you like to say, Corey, worthy and unworthy victims, which is kind of one of the things that Carney pointed out in his speech. Using the rules to your advantage when you have more power. whether that's
Oh,
Israel,
yeah.
whether
I
that's
mean,
the United States.
Look at look. I was just say, look what happened with Israel and Gaza last couple of years. International community, when it comes to their justice system and stuff, ain't got shit. They ain't got no teeth, and it's all coming into the light right in front of our eyes. Right always made, or might always made right. It's never not been that.
Which is essentially
it's just been a facade. And that's what he's calling out.
Putting the green sign in the window, as he said, when things were going well, and then you basically sacrificed all of your power. All of these other nations essentially sacrificed all of their power, which is one of the reasons why the European Union created itself, because it at least gave all of Europe some sort of a little bit of economic leverage that the individual nations by themselves would have never had, which is probably a major reason why Trump's not a big fan of the European Union, because it gives Europe a little bit more strength. So I don't know how Mark Carney is going to get all of these mid-sized nations to come together and fight against the hegemony of the multipolar world that we have now, which is the United States, China mostly, and then secondarily probably Russia.
Well, the minute they do that, it'll be chock full of KGB. Well, that's not the KGB anymore. Whatever the Russian intelligence community is, it'll be full of CIA agents and Mossad agents and MI6 agents. And
yeah,
they'll all be in there just destabilizing it from the get-go. So
yeah, I don't think that part of the speech is going to resonate too well with a lot of these European nations.
Right, because it's like, what are they supposed to do?
All you have to do is punch Trump in the markets. That's all you got to do. That is his kryptonite, man. When the markets start to come down, that's his kryptonite. That's how you get him to stop.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, it hurts all the rest of us too.
Yeah,
we're all invested in those markets as well. Canada should be grateful, though.
There you go, progressives. Take a note from that.
Dome.
Figure out a way to hurt the markets instead of small business owners. And
another thing I wanted to point out about this speech, you notice how at the beginning, Mark Carney basically shit on socialism?
Yes.
Like, that's the whole beginning of the speech, is how bad socialism is, coming from Mark fucking Carney, who is like,
communism.
Oh, whatever. Are we gonna have that debate? Are we gonna talk about that semantical argument about how they're different?
Well, I mean, Canada is a socialist country, but it's not communist.
Not yet.
It sounds like he ain't gonna let it happen, brother.
I guess
on Carney's clock.
I guess as long as Mark Carney's there, there will be.
Did you see that shit about Alberta? About Alberta wanting to secede from Canada?
That's because Alberta is basically the Canadian Texas. I mean, realistically, that's about what it is. Yeah, culturally, I'm a big fan of the Albertans.
What else we got?
Does that make Manitoba the Canadian Oklahoma?
I'd assume so. Geographically, yes.
We had that Trump letter to Norway. Did you see how funny this fucking thing was?
The one that got leaked. It was to Denmark, not Norway.
No, it was to Norway.
Oh,
it was to the Prime Minister of Norway. It said, "Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus is all caps. I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Denmark cannot protect the land from Russia or China. This is the best part. And why do they have a quote unquote right to ownership anyway? There are no written documents. It's only that I can't even fucking say it in his voice anymore. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we had boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding. And now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President DJT. My favorite part about this is the alternative history lesson that Trump is trying to give the Prime Minister of Norway, where he goes, why did they have a right to it? All they did was land some boats there. And we had boats. By the way, Denmark has had at least an unofficial claim to Greenland since 1721. The United States didn't even exist yet. But we had boats there too. And then you go back even further to the Norsemen that were there long before that,
who were also Scandinavian, and probably why Denmark found it so easily.
Just like,
yeah, because who was it? It was I couldn't even pretend to remember the name, but it was some guy who was like banished or something. He found Iceland and Greenland, and he wanted to confuse the people back home.
It was Eric the Red.
Eric the Red, because he was like doing his own thing. And so he told everyone that this area is Greenland and then this area is Iceland, because Iceland was the nicer of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted everyone to, if anyone was trying to come fuck with his shit, he wanted them to go to the nicer, or to Greenland.
What a shitty way to go about it.
If that part was explained to Trump, maybe he'd want Iceland instead.
Yeah. There are no written documents. Why did right of ownership? And it's like, I find that really funny that you have people running around the country talking about how whiteness is in danger. Why do white Europeans have a claim? All we did was land a boat here to the United States. You know what I mean? By that logic.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Dude, we already have bases there and shit.
Well, right. And so, okay, so let me read a little bit of what is in the deal that Trump was talking about before leaving Davos with Matt Rutte, the NATO Secretary General and the Prime Minister of the Netherlands. So apparently this isn't a deal. It's just framework for a deal. But one of the things is to halt. It is a halt to all planned U.S. tariffs on European allies, because the market didn't like that very much. So Trump agreed, at least in this framework. And then there is a vague framework for future cooperation, whatever the hell that means. Both sides describe the outcome as a framework on a future deal with no binding commitments or specifics. The third thing is focus on Arctic and Greenland security. And the last thing was no U.S. takeover of Greenland. So he gives that speech at Davos and then completely caves by the next morning because the markets didn't like it very much.
Oh my God. So yeah, it's the art of the deal, Dan.
Art of the deal.
We're going to get the military bases we already had.
Right. Essentially, nothing's going to change based on this. So where's Trump's next land grab going to be? If Greenland is actually over, what's the next land grab? You think he's going to go for Taiwan?
Cuba.
That's fair enough. Marco Rubio will make sure to put that in his ear several times an hour in between the blowjobs.
I never sucked any ding dongs.
Little Marco. Little Marco.
Yeah, he is kind of like, he does have like a weirdly childish face, doesn't he, for his age? Marco Rubio.
It's all that children's blood.
Yeah, he's got a blood boy.
Peekaboo.
It's George Santos. The last thing I have, Bell, if you want to pull up the last video of Kristi Noem saying that we need to stop doxing these poor ICE agents. Their lives are being threatened. I can't. Was this on Face the Nation? I'll know when Bell pulls it up, which show it was on. But she basically tells the host not to say the officer's name that shot Renee Good because where'd you guys go?
Here.
There we are. Go ahead and roll it, Bill.
Well, let me talk to you about the officer, Jonathan Ross. He was struck. He was hospitalized.
Don't say his name. I mean, for heaven's sakes, we shouldn't have people continue to dox law enforcement when they have an 8,000% increase in death threats against them. I know, but that doesn't mean it should continue to be said. His life, he got attacked with a car that was trying to take his life, and then people have attacked him and his family, and they are in jeopardy. And we have law enforcement officers every day who are getting death threats, being attacked at their hotels.
Well, can you tell me about his status? Well, let me talk to you about the officer,
Only
Jonathan Ross.
people are getting attacked.
I was about to play it. Then you did
it. Yeah. So basically, these poor, faceless, badgeless,
Shut up, bitch!
nameless, yeah, Gestapo members. We have to stop doxing them. You know what would make us not have to dox them? If they didn't cover their faces and they wore a fucking badge with their name on it and a badge number like a person. like every other law enforcement officer that there is, name and badge number. Fuck you, Christy Noem. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Or the dog you killed in on.
Come on now, you expect me to believe that?
That was it. You have anything to add? Or we can get to your TikToks.
I think I only have one.
Okay.
But
it's not Christy Noem's ugly face, is it?
No. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe you go down on her, dude. Don't be selfish. Don't be a sexist.
She fucking sucks. So I found this video interesting. So America is the UK now. And
what?
Yeah, when it comes to
why? Because they came over here on a boat a few hundred years ago.
yeah. We have claims of that too, right? But here, this is in America, in Miami.
Oh, Miami Beach. I know this video.
So go ahead and play that.
Should we set it up first?
Sure.
Okay.
Is that your account?
I refuse to answer questions without my lawyer present. So I really don't know how to answer that question either.
Well, like I said, you're not
this
going
is
to
freedom
jail.
of speech. This is America, right?
And
We're
I,
veteran.
and I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
But this is trying to see we're not talking to the right person. We want to go see who the right person
Okay,
is.
how can I help you?
So pretty much it's just a statement that was made as far as
verbatim, it says the guy who consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians tried to shut down a theater for showing a movie that hurt his feelings and refuses to stand up for the LGBTQ community in any way. Even leaves the room when they vote and on related matters. Wants you to know that you're all welcome. Clown face, clown face, clown face. 3 days ago.
So you don't know if it was you?
I'm not going to answer whether that's me or not.
Okay.
The concerning part, and not concerning for the person who's posting it, what we're just trying to prevent is somebody else getting agitated or agreeing with the statement. We're not saying it's true or not.
Understood.
That guy who consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians, that can probably incite somebody to do something radical. That's all we're here to talk about. And we wanted to get your side of it. Was you that posted that?
This is what happens when people start making up terms like fucking hate speech.
I appreciate your concern. I appreciate you coming out here.
Okay, that's it.
That is it.
Okay.
I'm going to maintain my my amendment rights to not answer the question about whether or not that's right. I hope that's understandable.
Right. We appreciate it.
Thank you
Have
as
a good
well.
day, okay?
You as well. Thank you. Take care.
So it went over okay. So I'll set this one up.
It
Corey,
seemed like they didn't want to be there first off, which thank God.
Which is good. Yeah. So this was a post in Miami Beach, Florida, where the mayoral administration is sending this. Maybe this is an isolated incident, but at least one time is sending police officers to people's houses over fake Facebook posts with regards to Israel. A mayor A mayor. And not like the mayor of Washington, D.C., the mayor of Miami Beach.
So it's hard to kind of understand what he's saying, but I have the transcript of like the post. And it's the guy who consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians tried to shut down a theater for showing a movie that hurt his feelings and refuses to stand up for the LGBTQ community in any way. In parentheses, even leaves the room when they vote on related matters. Wants you to know that you're all welcome here.
That's the post. That's the post in question.
And the mayor sent fucking cops to go harass her about it. Those are intimidation tactics. These are the type of videos that we shared year ago
because it might incite something radical, Corey. In other words,
in Australia and
people
UK,
are too stupid. In other words, people are too stupid to read a post and know whether or not they should like go murder somebody or something like that.
Right. This is all under the guise of shit like hate speech, man. When you're trying to outlaw speech, it's turned on you this fast.
Inside of a couple of years. Yeah. It's a mayor. It's a mayor. Not even like a huge city. I mean, it's Miami Beach, but it's not Miami proper.
And then I got one more video, Bell. It's the 3D hologram video. You know, of all the different administrations and organizations and, you know, institutions and everything that we can hate, I think that there is one that we can all agree to hate the most. And that group is PETA.
You know, they just say, you mean the group that's responsible for more dog euthanizations every year than anybody else in the world?
Yes, that one and the same, Dan.
Yeah.
Here's from CBS. Here's a news article starring PETA.
Finally tonight, only in America, the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, has doubled down on a public defense of Groundhog Day.
It's Punxsutawney Phil!
Every February 2nd, if you don't know, officials in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, pull a groundhog named Phil out of his burrow, and according to tradition, Phil then predicts weather will have an early spring. It's a huge event, draws thousands of people a year, but Phil, if you look at his eyes in particular, doesn't always look thrilled about the attention, which is why for decades now, PETA has been lobbying to replace Phil with, for example, a gold coin or a vegan weather reveal cake.
Dude,
or
that's
even
just
a
his face.
36-year-old woman from Oregon
Vegan
who said
cake?
she'd live in Phil's burrow and live stream it. The new suggestion is a giant 3D hologram, which one Philadelphia Inquirer columnist described as both adorable and terrifying. But the governor of Pennsylvania is having none of it. He's posted a photo of Phil with the words, "Don't tread on me." And if you're thinking, well, he's clearly joking, people have reached out to his office, and the office said, quote, he's indeed very serious about his defense of Phil. Like I said, only in America.
It's like the most well-off woodchuck in the fucking world.
He's probably well fed.
He's a local celebrity. Yeah, if you brought Punxsutawney Phil into any fucking restaurant in that place, they'd be like, he is welcome here. Any other woodchuck comes in, they're calling animal control, and it's probably gonna get euthanized by PETA. But
we have actual audio from Punxsutawney Phil regarding this as well.
They took our jobs!
Oh my god, yeah, I saw that, and I was just like, when I first read the headline, you're like, what is this, The Onion?
I mean, I'm glad Josh Shapiro has his priorities in order. I mean, that's a big job for the governor.
Punxsutawney Phil is protected.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. That's all you got.
That's all I got. I'm almost out of
All right.
beer. It's getting late.
Tell the people where they can find us, Corey.
L'Absurdif Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is l'absurdifshow.com, and we can be found at L'Absurdif on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at LibSertivPod. Our TikTok videos can be found at LibSertiv Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libsertivpod@gmail.com. Subscribe today. I've done that like 200 times. How the fuck did I fuck that up?
Shut up, bitch.
All right.
Buenos noches, Liberty Twitcher. We're actually just about to get off.
In more ways than one. For Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos, he as always has been Corey Walsh.
And he's been Dan Griffin, and Liberty Switchers speaking very very Mexican over there. We might have to call ICE.
I think
Deported.
Spanish.
And deported.
He's sounding awfully Hispanic.
He said that's California. You mean Californian?
Shut up, bitch.
It's been Conservative Intellectual Idiots fostering political and cultural literacy and the world's smartest internet show. And until next
Shut
time.
up, bitch.
Yeah.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back. Somebody must lead, or else the fight would not be made at all.